Hi there, I'm Kara and I talk to wine. But today is very special because we have a lovely guest that happens to be my mom. This is Terri.
Hi there.
All right, so we're both gonna talk to wine today, and it's a special exploration into natural wine and biodynamic wine. Are you ready?
So ready.
So ready. Let's give you a little first.
Okay.
So we gotta start off with
Kara.
what is natural wine, what is biodynamic wine, and then we will get a little bit more into what we are indulging on this evening. So if you ever see natural wine, opposed to say organic or biodynamic or other classified types of identification for wines, natural wine is more of a broad, more idealistic term, and it's not measurable. But what a natural wine means, if you have a natural wine, it starts in the vineyards. No pesticides, no manipulation, very hands-off farming is the first step. Next, when you actually take those grapes and make them into wine, you are not adding any cultured yeast, you're not adding any mechanisms to harvest, you're not using any highly advanced manipulative techniques to make the wine. So no sulfites added. The only time that you'll see, contained sulfite on the label of a natural wine is because sulfites occur naturally. So just keep in mind, from the vineyard to the production, it's a hands-off, less tampered with style of production. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
So that's natural wine. Next, I want to talk about biodynamics because biodynamics and natural wine tend to go hand in hand. Do you know what biodynamics are?
No.
Good answer, because I'm gonna tell you. All right, so biodynamics is an actual measurable, quantifiable technique of vineyard management. So, a guy named Rudolf Steiner, really interesting man. He developed the technique of biodynamics, which employs a type of farming that considers the vineyard a living organism, from the soils to the vines to how we treat the vineyard. It's a living, breathing organism. So what happens is the times for any operations in the vineyard and any type of human touch is going with the lunar cycle. It's going with the cosmos. So it can feel a little bit hippy-dippy, and they actually bury a ram's horn in the middle of the vineyard with manure, with dung.
Really?
Yeah, and what happens is that's buried and it's supposed to give off energy, life force, and throughout the lunar systems and throughout the growing season, the manure is developed and it's treated, and eventually it becomes spray. So it's kind of this life-giving organism that kind of keeps everything in balance. So that's a very broad and, to some people, humorous explanation of biodynamics, but it's really an interesting study. But the best thing to keep in mind, it's a very unique viticultural technique.
Okay.
And it does make a difference on the finished wine and grapes. And natural winemakers tend to gravitate toward this because it also falls in line with their ideology.
Okay.
Feel good? Yes. Let's taste it. So this is a Syrah.
Tell me what I'm smelling.
Well, let's
Okay.
talk about it.
Okay.
So this is going to be a Syrah, a producer, Domaine de L'Ecu, and what happens is they take Syrah grapes from the southern Rhone, and they are using those to make this wine, farming biodynamically and natural winemaking, very low intervention, to give a very pure expression. So 100% Syrah, 2019 vintage. And check out this label though. Pretty romantic.
It is.
It is. But yes, so Novi is the name of this particular wine once again. But let's go ahead and...
Very rustic.
Yeah, so Syrah
Very
always gives
rustic.
off a nice purple, deep, inky color. So that definitely happens.
Dark.
Yes. So let's smell it. So you've already mentioned it's kind of rustic.
Very.
Smells Yeah, so it has
It's like
these
a
really,
dirt.
oh yes, oh my
Right?
gosh, I love this wine.
Oh,
so
wow.
this is Syrah on steroids to me
Ooh.
because it is so irony, it's so
yeah.
charcuterie, it's got this almost sanguine kind of feel, which is almost like that like bloody,
Yeah.
almost like black sausage or black pudding, you know, in Britain. Have you ever had that?
I have not. But
It smells like this a little bit.
I can take it, yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, so Syrah will typically give off smoky, meaty tones and notes, but
Very rustic.
this just takes it another ante because now it's kind of this like earth and dirt
Yes.
and obviously no
Oh.
oak, no baking spice,
no.
no
Oh, no.
manipulation. It's just so pure and so authentic. Let's take a sip. She's way ahead of me.
Ooh.
Way ahead of me. Ooh, what do you got?
I'm tasting
So-
leather maybe? A little
Okay,
leather?
yeah. You feel,
Ooh.
especially with a natural biodynamic wine, you'll feel this kind of untamed, unrounded. To me, it just has this purity and it's unmanipulated. And I love that. So it's nice and dry, right?
Oh, very.
Dry,
Yes.
but the tannins are very kind of pungent, almost more wild tannin.
Yes.
You know, you feel the drying kind of grippy wildness of the wine. And then to me, the flavors and the aromas all melt together nicely on the palate to where it gives you a really strong look at that earthy, unctuous, kind of just savage style of Syrah. What do you think about that?
It's very grippy,
Yeah.
but very good.
This is a good food wine. So a lot of natural wines, a lot of wines like this would do very well with a cheese plate, a charcuterie board. I could see meats with this,
Yes.
something roasty, something stewy.
Yes.
So this is also a great way to kind of have a wine evolve with food. So a wine like this would do that. So once again, this is a Syrah we are drinking. It is natural, biodynamic, and I think we've learned quite a bit. And go out there and find yourself some fun wines to taste. Don't forget to look up my book, If Wine Could Talk. It's pretty much this, but in book form. If you enjoyed this, you would love the book. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.